Hi all. Hello dear viewers. This is your host Roohul Amin with the program the Pashtun, the Hujra. Today's Hujra is going to be held Benjamin and Yura have lost 10 tribes, and this is believed that the 10 tribes have some connections with today's Pashtuns who are living in Afghanistan, India, and Pakistan. So today three guests are going to join us in this program. One is Rochelle, and second is Harry, and third one is Nadav Sofy. So first of all, I would like to welcome Rochelle.
Hi, Rachel. Rachel. I'm Rachel.
Yeah, I'm Rohul, and you are Rochelle. So thank you very much. And now I'm going to welcome Harry.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a big honor.
So let me start from the history. This is believed that some 2,700 years ago, the Assyrians conquered the kingdom of Israel and scattered 10 of the 12 tribes into exile. The two remaining tribes, Benjamin and Judah, became the modern day Jewish people. However, there is no clue of the 10 lost tribes, and today's conference was an attempt to tell to the world that where the 10 tribes are supposed to be living these days or these ages. So I would like to pick up the brain of Rochelle on this issue, if you can tell us and our viewers also.
Well, as everyone's become aware, we're Jews, and we're claiming we're your brothers and sisters. And how dare we claim this? Who are we to claim this? How would we know this? What we have is called the Torah and the Tanakh. It's the Jewish Bible. And what it is, it has three sections, the Tanakh. It has the Torah, which is our Pashtun law. It's the law that the Prophet Musa, that his name be blessed, praised. I'm still getting the terminology that the Pashtun use. The law, the first 5 books there, and then we have the prophets. Of all the Jewish prophets there are, all of their stories and everything is in the second section of the books. It tells everything that we did, B'nai Israel, all the tribes, where we went wrong, where we stuffed up, and where God told us he was really angry at us, that we had to change our ways. And if we didn't change our ways, well, there'd be consequences, because he made an everlasting covenant with the Bani Israel at Sinai when we left Egypt. And we have to follow these laws, our Pashtun, and it became our culture, our traditions and our cultures. And you see, the creators through Moses, Musa says that B'nai Israel, I want you to be holy, kadosh, which means set apart, to be my portion, so that you can be like my slaves or my priests, and you can be a light to people, so we can bring love and peace and everything. But you have to follow these laws. What happened is that we didn't follow the laws. We messed up lots of times. The third set of books is called the Writings, and this is the Psalms and the Song of Solomon. All the this. When you read these, this shows how we fix our mistakes of the past, how we can fix it, how to get wisdom and stuff. So what it was about 2,700 years ago, we upset the Creator, the Northern Kingdom of the 10 tribes and the Southern Kingdom. And what God did, he sent us prophets and said, if you don't mend your ways and start following your everlasting covenant, which comes with the land of Israel, what I'll do is I'll exile you. And he did. He said that he would exile us, what would happen in our exile, how we'd suffer. And then he says in the end of the prophecies that, and where you went, where everyone went, which was scattered around the world, and what would happen is that in the end, because of this everlasting covenant given to Bani Israel from Yaakov's 12 children, Bani Israel, got given this covenant with this land, and it's an eternal covenant. So when he exiled us, he didn't destroy us like he destroyed the other nations and killed them off. He sent us away for 2,700 years. Now, that's a long time. What did we do what that was so wrong? You can read about that in Amos and some of the other prophets. But what it says is that we're all going to come back. We're going to rejoin. We're going to become one nation, all 12 brothers. And there's a sister in there too by the name of Dinah. So where all of her descendants are in amongst the tribes there as well. They're also foremothers. Anyway, it's been about 2,007 years, and I have a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
I have a sheet of paper about it's Moses' birthday today. It's his birthday. Where is this? Oh, here we go. Can I read this? This is about Musa. Okay. According to Jewfacts.org, Musa was born on the 7th of Adar, 2,368 from creation, circa 1,400 BCE. The son of Amram, a member of the tribe of Levi, and Yocheved was the mother, and then Yocheved, member of the tribe of Levi, and Yocheved was his mother. And anyway, so Thursday, the 22nd of February 18, was the 7th of Adar, the year 5,778. So today is the 3,410th birthday of Moses, of Musa. So anyway, Moshe, interestingly, redeemed Bnei Israel from Egypt during his 80th year. So if we subtract 80, we have 3,330 years this Passover since the Exodus from Egypt. So this year it's 5,778, which is very important and significant. So it's 70 years after the establishment of the Jewish state, and in 1948, and 51 years after the liberation of Jerusalem in 1967. So anyway, I really believe with all my heart and soul that the Pashtun nation, Pashtunistan, Pashtun people are part of Bnei Israel, and we really, really need to unite because we're the ones that bring world peace. It's not getting done any other way. We've got the strength. We've survived. We're the nation, Bnei Israel. We still exist. We're still alive. Where are the Romans? Where are the Greeks? Where are the Assyrians? Where are the Babylonians? They're all gone. There's the Jews and there's the Pashtuns. Our job to stand together, bring world peace, and shake the nations. Because what it is when Bnei Israel unites, we're all going to go to Jerusalem, the whole world, all the nations are going to say, wow, we had no idea. That's not what we were told. But it's all written in our scriptures. And for me as a Jew, I want all of Bnei Israel to know our heritage, our rights, and who we are to the creator of the universe. How dare everyone else say that they're more important and they're more important. We're important. Bani Israel are the most important people in the world because we're going to bring world peace. Well, Hashem will bring, the creator will bring world peace. We'll bring it along the way. That's what I think. Sorry, I get a bit passionate about this.
Yeah, you just touched upon towards, closing your argument about the scripture. So when it comes to scripture, you are holding on to Torah and...
sorry, what was the script?
You are holding on to that scripture, and Pashtuns are, when it comes to their belief system and scripture, so they are holding on to Quran. So how you would accept them? Like when it comes to the blood connection.
Because they're Muslim.
So, yeah.
I'm going to not accept them because they're Muslim. They're Bani Israel. Bani Israel is it's blood, it's culture, it's tradition, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Jewish religion is just Pashtunwali anyway, right? As far as I'm concerned.
No. If when it comes to scientific research work, if that is substantiated and validated, that yes, the Pashtuns and the Israelites are, blood brothers. So, what would you prefer, like theology or the blood connection?
Well, I don't come as Muslims. Come as Muslims. I love you all, whether you're Muslim or not. Just come, because it's not going to matter. Because once we stand up, join, you get your feet on this land here in Israel, right? This is what brings world peace, right? The Creator reveals Himself to the world, and everyone will see it. So I come with Islam. I don't. This is just me personally, right? This is just my personal view that it's not going to matter, because once we unite anyway, everyone's going to know the truth. If the Creator is going to reveal Himself to the world, and we being His light to the nations, we're going to know absolute truth. There's going to be no lies. There's going to be no nothing. We're going to know the truth. So if we're wrong in things, well, we'll accept, hey, we were wrong in things. And I'm sure when B'nai Israel and all the Pashtuns are standing there and God's revealed Himself, and all the nations are going, oh, wow, whatever might be, what's right or what's wrong, it doesn't matter, because we're all going to know the truth, and it's good because we're B'nai Israel, and it's good.
So, thank you very much. Now, I would like to ask Harry Rozenberg. My question is that how much scientific research and work has been carried out so far regarding, connecting the dots and finding out the roots between the two tribes which are currently living in current day Israel and the 10 lost tribes.
Right. Well, it's very difficult to look at science, I feel, for the most part. I mean, in certain instances, you'll see there are, let's say, genetic markers found among certain specific family clans of the ancient people of Israel. But the mystery of the diaspora of Israel is similar to stories that we find in the Bible. For example, the stories of Joseph and the stories of Esther. Both of them, in their stories, had went on their own without their nation, without their people, to a foreign land. So Joseph goes into Egypt, and what ends up happening? He ends up rising to power and becoming second in command over all of Egypt, and he ends up getting married to an Egyptian and has all children over there. Now pretend the Israelites never came down to Egypt and Joseph was all alone in Egypt. Let's say 1,000 years later, his children would be maybe hundreds of millions of people just from one man. And the same with Esther. When she went into Persia and Babylon, she rose to power. And she, if she would have stayed there, she would have also had offspring. So the way we look at it is the Israelites scattered across the whole globe, and we assume that wherever they went, they became influential and strong people and a strong nation. But the question is, we don't know. That could have been the descendant of one man. It could have been the descendant of 100,000 men. So that's part of the mystery of the scatterings that we're trying to piece back together right now. And from the way we look at it, this is not a process of having to prove anything, because this is a process of doing something. We don't need to wait to prove to then do something. The world needs urgent matters to be attended to and cared to, and there's power in numbers. So if the Pashtun and the Jews say, hey, we identify as being part of the same family, that's enough. For me, I said, well, we got a lot of work to do. Let's start fixing the world. And then when the world's fixed and there's world peace, we could really sit down and we could talk about God. Yeah, what religion? Yes, religion. No religion. How many times a day are we praying? That's all luxury conversation. So right now, the main thing is that there is a large unification happening between two very powerful nations, and the result of that, I think, will be beneficial for the world.
So thank you very much. Now I would like to check Mr. Nadav Sofy. Right now, he's also sitting in the studio in the panel also. So I welcome Nadav Sofy.
Hello?
Nadav Sofy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Hello, Nadav Sofy, can you hear me?
I hear you fine, yeah.
So actually, so thank you very much. You are welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So would you like to comment on the similarities between Pashtuns and Israelites?
Yeah, gladly. We've been in contact with hundreds of Pashtuns all around Afghanistan and Pakistan in the diaspora, and we found out about 40 plus customs. Some of them are actually unique, not practiced by anyone else in the world. Some of them are taken right out of the Torah we believe in, of Moses. It actually shows that, we believe that the 10 tribes of Israel were taken to Asia, to Central Asia. So there are not a lot of ethnicities there, like maybe 30, maybe 40. And none of them has any Jewish custom, while the Pashtuns have like more than 40. And the locations where the 10 tribes were taken to, almost all those locations are in Afghanistan except for one city that is in Persia, in Iran. So, and the Pashtuns have a tradition. Today in the conference, we had a Pashtun speaker. He talked about how this tradition is recorded in both in Pashtun historians, in foreign historians, and we added later that even in Jewish historians, we had Jewish rabbis 1,000 years ago going to Afghanistan and saying, hey, the Ghazni River is Gozan. Gozan is a river that is mentioned in the Bible. He said that it was a huge community of Jews or Israelis that came there like since the destruction of the first temple. That is the exile of the 10 tribes. That is a Jewish rabbi writing 1,000 years ago. As far as I know, it's the most ancient recorded most ancient mentioning of the Pashtuns being the tribes of Israel. So basically the Pashtuns, if we did like a competition between the Pashtuns and the rest of the ethnicities in Central Asia, we would get like the Pashtuns are just walking and still leaving everyone else behind, like no one has any chance to come close to the Pashtuns. It means the Pashtuns are the children of Prophet Yaakov. It means that Pashtuns are the people that, the most ancient people that accepted God as one entity, who has no body, who didn't pray to the stars or to the animals. The source of pride for the Pashtuns, the source of pride for us to be part of the Pashtun nation, because we really have a lot of similarities. And right now, very unfortunately, there are a lot of political powers that are showing us like something that we are not. They're showing the Pashtuns, people in Israel always get the wrong feeling that the Pashtuns are the Taliban, and always has to tell them that I know Pashtuns, and like maybe there are a few thousand Talibans that get their salary from the same countries that pay the suicide bombers that bomb themselves in our buses. Those are the same countries that are paying the suicide bombers of the Taliban and the suicide bombers that are bombing in Israel. And unlike like a few thousand Talibans, you have tens of millions of Pashtuns who hate the Taliban. So how can you think that the Pashtun are Taliban? But this is what the media does. It shows everything in a certain negative way. It shows us negatively. It shows the Pashtun negativity. And it got us to a situation where we are meeting Pashtun, and some of them are mostly the nationalistic ones, really showing us affection and love, but the others are a lot of time hostile, and it's really unjustifiable. Yeah, we understand most of the Pashtuns, or almost all the Pashtuns, are Muslims. They believe in Islam. That doesn't change anything. The blood in the vessels does not change because a person believes in this prophet or another prophet. We're praying to the same God. I'm as a Jew, I believe in one God. I don't believe he has any kind of body. I'm not praying to anything else but God. This is the God I believe in. And this is also true for the Pashtuns. We have a lot of commonalities, and we need to focus on them. And I think we will both benefit, because you don't get to choose your family, like the Rav said. The Rav Eri said, we are the same family. We are the part of the same nation, and we as Jews are very, very nationalistic. Like a Jew feels like a mother loves her son, then a Jew loves another Jew. And for us, there is no difference between a Jew from, the kingdom of Judah, the 2 tribes, or the 10 tribes, the same thing, the same Israel, the same nation. And so we should have this.
Yeah. So can you cite of some of the customs you talked about that Pashtuns and
Of course,
Israelites have common customs more than
of
40.
course.
So can you come up with some of the examples?
Of course, I'm going to say it from the top of my head because I'm not prepared, but I remember some of them. First, I'm going to say that not every Pashtun is doing all the customs. Like, for one example, we heard that some Pashtuns are breaking glass at their wedding. Now, I personally checking with my friends. I have a lot of Pashtun friends. I'm checking with them if they know the customs, so I get a feeling if it's a custom that one of a million does or more. So I asked, and two people said no Pashtun ever does this. The Pashtuns don't break glass at the wedding. Then a Shinwari comes and say, "Hey, I broke a glass in my wedding, like he did it." And then another one, a Zazai from the tribe of Zazai, and he says, "I saw it with my own eyes." And you know, you have this custom. We are doing it. I broke a glass in my wedding. The Pashtuns actually, that January actually broke Chinese clay, but it's also a Jewish custom. And you have like a rule I heard about, like you can't leave your shoes upside down. It's something I heard about, and I heard that a lot of Pashtuns are doing it. My family does that too. If my cousin sees shoe that are done, she's gonna run from the end of the room. You know, it's going to be like a sprint, and she's gonna turn it out. And we know about a custom that is forbidden or brings a plague if you count Pashtuns. I'm not sure that everybody does that, but we heard that a lot does. That a grandfather gets angry if someone counts his children because it might bring something bad. And we know that this is from the Torah, right from the Torah, that God warned Moses not to count the Israelis. And one time, one of our kings counted us, and it got us a huge disaster and a plague. We have rotating chickens above the head, and if no chicken, then money. Something that a friend of mine from the federally administrated tribal area, the Fatah, he saw an anti-Semitic video that is laughing at the Jews for rotating chickens over their head. And he sees this and he says, "Hey, my mom did it. Hey, my wife is doing it to the kids." So this is also a Jewish and Pashtun custom. We have can go on the usage of kuza to wash their hands from a tool. The custom of mordar awina. Some Pashtuns are extracting extra blood after the circumcision. In our books, this is one of the main differences between the Israeli circumcision and the Arab circumcision. It's written in my books before there was Islam. It's like 2,000 years ago, our rabbis wrote about the difference between the different circumcisions. And Pashtuns are doing it not the Arab way, like every other Muslim in the world, but the Israeli way. We have, keeping kosher, not eating shrimps, not eating camel meat. I heard from a friend of Afghanistan that even if they give them camel meat, they won't eat it. Not eating salting meat, throwing an egg if you have blood in it, because blood is actually forbidden for us. We have meat and milk products. Some Pashtuns don't eat meat and cheese together. She's right from the Torah, we don't eat it too. As far as we know, the other Muslims do eat it, other people in the world do it together. You know, cheeseburgers, but we won't ever eat cheeseburger. So we have those customers. We have many more tearing shares at a wedding. I can't remember all of them, but above 30. On my last count, we discovered more than maybe we are even getting there to 50. And again, the number two nation in custom doesn't have even 5. No, it's not a close race. It's like not close at all. The Pashtuns are just winning it easily.
So when it comes to history, too many things are mystery, history and mystery. Uh, the statue of Buddha is standing still there in Bamyan, one of
Sorry,
the
sorry.
provinces. The statue of Buddha is still standing in Bamyan, one of the provinces of Afghanistan. And during the Taliban regime, that statue was blown up. So, what is your comment on that issue? Because if if someone is not holding on to a certain belief, why would he allow certain statues? Or Many Pashtuns also claim that they are Aryans, and before converting to Islam, they were Zoroastrian. Zarathustra or Zardasht in Pashto, he is called, the prophet of Pashtun is called Zardasht. This is not widely held belief, but they say that he was born in Balkh, and Balkh is also one of the provinces, northern provinces of Afghanistan. And the concept of Zarathustra or the message of Zoroaster was that God is light, and the same is mentioned in Quran that God is light of the earth and light of the sky or the universe, and He has no shape. And Quran also says about monotheism. Judaism also says about monotheism, and Zoroastrianism also says about monotheism. So, how do you connect all these things, and then you can conclude that despite all these things, Jews and Pashtuns are the same?
First of all, it's a great question. About blowing up the statue of Buddha. I don't know enough about what is actually Buddhism. We don't have anything like that in Israel. So I can't comment because I don't understand what happened and what they did. But
No,
I can
actually,
comment on.
there are lots of, when it comes to Pashtun land, so there are too many stupas, the worship places of Buddhism, in Swat, which is a scenic location, and a tourist resort in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, which is currently in Pakistan, and which was recently very much infested by the extremist Taliban, and they exploded the statues of Buddha. And also in Bamiyan when the Taliban were in power. So it indicates that at times this is possible that Pashtun might have been, remained Buddhist either.
According to our belief, to our books, the 10 tribes, the forefathers of Pashtuns, as well as our forefathers, we sinned. So we were not all very like 100% holy, and the exile is actually a punishment. So we didn't expect to find the Pashtuns Jewish keeping the Torah. After so many years that the Pashtun didn't have any written Torah book or anything like that, it is obviously expected that some Pashtun, some percent, at some time or another, I know Khan Roshan Khan believed something else. He believed that the Pashtuns were Jewish, then some kind of Christians. But personally, I believe it is possible that some percent of the Pashtuns became Buddhist.
No, actually, yeah, I do agree that there's a kind of notion which is being held by Yusufzai and also Afridis among the Pashtuns. Afridis, the elderly people, they also are holding on to this notion that because when it comes to written history, so when we go back just 100 years back, so the literacy rate was, I think it was nearly tantamount to just 2% or 1%. And there was a kind of just tradition of transferring history. So Afridis, they are one of the tribes among Pashtuns, and they are holding on to this notion, and Yusufzai also. And there was a scientific research which was being carried out by an Afridi doctor, an Indian Afridi doctor, Nauras Jat Afridi, because he visited Israel, and he also studied in the University of Jerusalem, and then he took some samples of Afridis and Bangash and the Yusufzai tribe, and he said that he had concluded that there is a kind of strong connection between the Pashtuns and Israelis.
I'm personally sure there is. Pashtuns. Some of the Pashtuns might have accepted foreign religions, Buddhism or anything else, and maybe there are some Pashtuns that Aryan. But actually, I don't believe in the Aryan story at all because, as far as I could read and find out, the Aryan story did not originate with Pashtun. It originated with British people. The Pashtuns, being Israelites, originated with Pashtun historians hundreds of years ago, and the Aryan theory originated by British scholars that think that they are the smartest people in the world, and they actually created most of the political problems Pashtuns are having right now with the Durand line and with everything. So I wouldn't trust them, and I don't think you should. I think you should trust your own forefathers who said you are Israelis. And you might have been, there might be some Pashtuns or Azoristan, or doesn't matter. The custom of all those customs, 40 customs, could not originated out of thin air. And Dr. Nadav Safridi, actually, I know a doctor I'm working with on the academical research. She knows him too, and he believes it. He's an Afridi. And I heard from hundreds of Pashtuns who heard it from their fathers. And we had a Pashtun speaker today. He said that when he was a kid, there was no such thing as the Aryan theory. No one believed it. That it started because of all this propaganda against the Jews, and became like a shame being part of the nation of the Jews, when actually it is a great pride, a source of pride, is being the child of Prophet Yaakov. You know, Avraham had two sons. He had Yitzchak, he had Ishmael, and even though they both died righteous men, Yaakov continued to follow one God, and the children of Ishmael started worshipping all kinds of stars, all kinds of animals, all kinds of statues. Meanwhile, the Pashtuns worship the one God, Allah. And
Yeah,
this is a great
yeah.
source of power to the Pashtuns. And this is, I believe this is due because, again, those similarities, those traditions, they can't come out of thin air. And everyone else in Central Asia do not come even close to the Pashtuns in matching with us.
So now I would like to take some comments from the comment section, because there are too many comments are coming. I think more than 300 comments have been received so far. So let me sort it out with or choose one among them. Nadav Sofy from Malyar Mulachel. No, he's gone. There's really a rush of comments. So they're changing very much, in a faster way. So yeah. Now it's time to connect the lost tribe with Israel and help them out. They are suffering from terror and illiteracy. Ahmad Shah. This is coming from Ahmad Shah. Now, it is time to reconnect the lost tribe with Israel and help them out. They are suffering from terror and illiteracy. So, okay, your comment on this. Your comment on this comment.
Israel must help the lost tribes of Israel. Israel, not for nothing, it's called Israel. You know, when we returned during the time of our second temple, we called the kingdom Yehuda, because the people they knew that the lost tribes are not coming back during that time, and Yehuda is going to be destroyed again, and it was. And then when we came back, we called it Israel for a reason, because it's the land for all the Israelites all around the world, including the Pashtuns. And yeah, we should help Pashtuns, but don't be like egoists, or I don't know how to say it. You should also help us. We also have problems, and this is what it's all about. It's mutual, yeah, surely we should do it.
Okay. Sorry to cut you short. There is another question which says that can you please tell me what is the difference between Judaism and Zionism?
Again, Jerusalem and
Judaism and Zionism, the difference between the two terms.
who are you asking me?
Yeah, there is a comment. Actually,
Okay.
the comment section, there is a comment which says that what is the difference between the two terms, Judaism and Zionism?
First of all, I know that in some places in the world that catch too much Al Jazeera, people sometimes believe that Zionism is some kind of a curse, and the Zionists are causing earthquakes all around the world and hurricanes, and I don't know what. But Zionism is simply a term used to describe people who believe that the land of Israel belongs to the people of Israel. Now, Jerusalem is a city, the holy city, the eternal capital of the people of Israel, where King David used to rule his kingdom. And in Jerusalem, there is Mount Zion. It's a mountain in Jerusalem, and this is where, yeah.
Okay, there's another question. It comes from, I come from Kabul, Afghanistan. My mother language is Pashto, and I have great love for Israel. And then either we lost them or they lost us.
Both. Same.
what happened, what we lost each other. The biggest empire of that time, Assyria, them, they came and they destroyed the northern kingdom in three phases, you know, like divide and rule. They divided the tribes. Something similar happening a lot of times when people are losing themselves in internal wars, and then they took some of the tribe, then the other tribe, then the other tribe, and took them to Afghanistan. And the Jews knew where the 10 tribes were. It's written in the Talmud. They knew exactly how those places are called in Aramaic of their time. But in some point, we lost contact and we didn't know where they are. Although actually, I got to say something that's very surprising. The Afghan Jews, you know, the Jews that came to Afghanistan mainly from Persia and from Iraq, they knew that the Afghans are the 10 tribes, and actually every Afghan Jew that I talked about in Israel, even just some guy that prays with me in my synagogue, he told me how he used to see the Afghan women lighting Shabbat candles like on Friday and covering them so no one would see, and somehow they knew. So the contact was not entirely lost, but yeah, we did lose each other, and it had to happen, and now we got to fix it. This is the time of the internet, the time of Facebook, and we can easily be in contact even if we are not living in the same place.
But actually, I have a question that when it comes to connecting the dots and chasing the love, chasing the roots, and delving into the history. So, don't you think that this is the greatest ever irony of the history that two tribes are searching for 10 tribes? Like, it must have been, the other way. Like, 10 tribes must have been, groping the two lost tribes. You know what I mean?
It's very interesting. It might be, yeah, it's very interesting. You know, like maybe it's something about our ancestors. You
even
know, just
even 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 when you come to science, and particularly when it comes to magnetic power. So when we were children, so we were rolling you know a magnet so that we can find out some smaller particles of iron, and they used to be clinging to that. So if the same thing is applied to this love bond, or chasing the history, or chasing or finding out the roots, so now the 10 tribes must, have been trying to drop further too.
yeah,
What do you explain? What do you explain that why it's the other way around?
it's hard to explain. Maybe it has something to do with Joseph. You know, most of the children of Joseph, I'm sure Pashtun heard about Joseph. He's in the Quran many times. Most of the children of Joseph are Pashtuns. And back in Egypt, Joseph saved Judah, the father of most of the Jews. And he saved not just Judah, he saved everybody. And maybe this is the time when Judah has to go and find Joseph. I'm not saying save Joseph, also Joseph needs to save us, but I don't know how to explain it in any simple earthly explanation. But maybe it's just had to happen this way.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I would like to pick up the views of Rochelle. So she's here with us. Rochelle, welcome you once again.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me. Roohul.
Hello, can you hear
Hi.
me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
So Rochelle is unfortunately not with us because of a technical problem, but now I would like to pick up the brain and use Harry Rozenberg. So Harry, you are welcome once again.
Thank you so much.
The question is that don't you think that if the history comes out to be true, that Israelites and Pashtuns are the same blood, then don't you think that the indigenous people of current day Afghanistan, some parts of Pakistan, there would be, a kind of resistance, because they will say that these tribes were the invaders and they were not the indigenous people. So have you ever given a thought to this side of the story as well, or not?
That's a great question. So you're saying if the Pashtun people really are from the tribes of Israel, then the
Yeah.
local people who aren't Pashtun can complain and say, hey, you guys aren't indigenous, then go back to Israel and give us
Yeah,
our
that's
land
true.
back.
Yeah, it will happen in the future. And then one dot is missing because nobody knows that who are the indigenous people.
Right. I mean, listen, in all my years, I'm thinking about the Pashtun for like 10 years already. I never I never thought of this question you just asked. It's an amazing question. But I think what's going to happen is, according to the prophecies and according to how I think we should do things, that this should be beneficial to the region. So everyone should they should benefit also from the spiritual and the connection of the growth that will happen in this unification. So perhaps they'll say, we're living under corrupt governments now in all these regions across the Middle East. Maybe when we unite, there's going to be much more of a transparent system of rulership that will make more sense to people. So I'm hoping that people are going to not only be okay with you staying there, they're going to be happy that you will be taking a leadership position in the region.
And another question is that when it comes to Pashtun diaspora, so they are, widespread across the world. They are living in Australia, they are living in Canada, in America, in UK. They are living across the world. So, and when it comes to their own lane, like Afghanistan and some parts of current day Pakistan, so they are really under duress. They are, their condition is very much worse. They are under attack. So how the people of Israel can help them out? I feel that Israel itself is is facing too many challenges because in the Middle East there is no peace, and it has been blown up since for the past many decades. Yet despite that, how the two can help out each other or one another?
Oh, that's a great question. And this is also tied to the previous question, British who started drawing lines all throughout the regions. And so now that we're finding ourselves around the whole world, I think this is an opportunity to redefine how we view borders and governments and how we're going to stay loyal to certain lines that have been drawn before us. So there's a term that's used today called the decentralized. Like Pashtun tribes run mostly decentralized, meaning there's not necessarily one tribe that rules over all the tribes. Everyone has their villages and their communities, and they rule. And I foresee the future of the world heading into a state of we call the great decentralization, where some of the big governments that are around today are not going to be middlemen anymore between different lines that have been drawn. So I foresee that this is a great thing that the Pashtuns have been spread around the whole world and that the Jewish people have been spread around the whole world, because now these are great bases for us to set up shops for the future governance of humanity. I mean, there's a small example of a remnant community in China of Jews, and there's an organization said, well, we should fly them all back to Israel and bring them all back home. And someone else said, no, this is the last remnant of our people in these mountains of China. Let's strengthen that community. Let's strengthen that village up. Let's reinforce it. So now that we're all around the whole world, it's an opportunity to help fix the world. I think this is one of the reasons we were spread to all four corners of the world. And I'll tell you personally, because I have an amazing story for you. I grew up in Queens, New York, right down the block from Matzav Pashtun. And it hit me one time that I realized that every day I'm driving to synagogue to pray, I'm passing Pashtun walking in the street. So I started waving to them. That was like my first thing. I would wave and they would wave back. And then I started stopping some of them on the street and saying, hey, listen, what's going on? Are you Bani Israel? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, I'm Bani Israel. And then we would hug and it could be a fun thing. And then I was a soccer coach for our soccer high school team. And I found a really good soccer player who was Pashtun, and I made him my assistant coach. So now I got an assistant coach who's Pashtun, and we're coaching a Jewish high school team soccer. So it was for me. It was so fun. Now I live in Israel now, so it's a little sad. I don't get to pass Pashtun every day. When I go back to visit my family in America, I can't. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's so exciting. There's Pashtun here. I can hang out with them again. So I foresee that this attitude should spread around the whole entire world. I mean, me as a Jew, if I travel any single city almost in the entire world, there's going to be a Jew in that city. He doesn't have to know me, but he'll take me in. He'll take care of me if I need anything. He could have never met me in his life, but if I'm in that city and I call a Jew and I say, listen, I'm stuck in your city, I need some help, he'll be there for me, and he'll give me resources, and the community will open their doors for me. That's how the Jewish people work, and I would love to see that integration between Jews and Pashtuns in the future.
So thank you very much. Now I would like to pick up the brain of Rochelle. So would you please tell us that, about the details of the conference which was held today in Jerusalem? In details.
You want all the details of the conference? Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you think I've got them all in front of me ready? No. You think I could understand all of it? No, because like the Pashtuns, I also have difficulties understanding Hebrew, even though I'm a Jew. Right? The diaspora. Anyway, I know some brachas. I know how to do a bracha on a drink. But to hear the conference in Hebrew, I couldn't do it. Well, what we did is I came as a live reporter for the Pashtun Times, which was my pleasure. And what it is, it was a conference on the Pashtuns, the 10 tribes from Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India. So there were 4 speakers that spoke, and also there were some Pashtuns that spoke. And first I'll go into the speakers were Rabbi Moshe Amoni. He spoke on the return of the 10 tribes in the light of the modern age. And this was in Hebrew, and it wasn't, we didn't have a live translation, but I understand there will be a translation of it at some point that maybe Pashtun Times would like to put up on their website. And the next speaker was Dr. Shalva Will, and she was speaking about the Israelite affiliation of the Pashtuns and anthropological viewpoint. And then we had Nadav.
Okay, stop here. Would you please stop here, because there's an interesting question, a comment. This is hilarious, and it's so funny, and particularly I got interested in that comment. There is a guy. He asked that is this possible to marry a Jewish girl?
Look, I tell you what, there are a lot of women that don't have husbands. Also, there are a lot of women that don't have husbands. There are a lot of men that don't have wives. And really, for Pashtun to be reconnected with Israel, and that we would be free to marry Pashtun, and Pashtun can marry us, it opens up the marriage pool so wide. It would be great. And the Pashtun people are actually very, very attractive. And yeah, it's beautiful. Hopefully
So,
one day.
when it comes to tracing the roots and connecting the dots, and finding the blood connection, and I have personally found out, of your programs on sometimes that great warmth and love is being held out by the general public or civilians. So, what is the policy of the government of Israel?
Oh, sorry?
The government is holding the same warmth and love for Pashtuns, or it is just a public matter, and the general public are just civilians are holding out this love and warmth for connecting the dots and finding out the rules?
It's quite amazing, actually, because there are actually quite a number of Jews here in Israel that I've spoken to don't even know who Pashtuns are, and things that Pashtuns are Arabs. So what it is that when I talk to people about the Pashtuns, who, the what, the where, the what, and then some people go, oh wow, and they start looking up about it. There are some people that aren't very good at, they're Muslims, and they want to kill us, and then they start looking themselves and they go, wow, Israel brothers and sisters. Like there's just like this long march I've been watching on the Pashtun Times, and the awakening of the nationalism of the Pashtun and the joining together. We're feeling this awakening with the Pashtun. The Israelis are getting awakened by Pashtun being Bani Israel, because this is we pray 3 times a day for the return of the Pashtuns every day. You know, And then some people say, no, they're Muslim, they can't be our brothers. And I said, well, then if you don't believe the Pashtun are our brothers and sisters, you better stop praying 3 times a day, because you're being a hypocrite. Seriously, like, the Jews need to wake up. Jews need to wake up, because just like Pashtun, they've got all these preconceived ideas of the Jews. So too, there are Jews that have all these preconceived ideas of Pashtun, and they don't have a clue. They're clueless. We need to learn about each other. We need to become friends. Meet up on online, have parties. Maybe go to Cyprus. Meet up, or the Jews and the Pashtuns in the different countries should meet up with the Jews in the different countries. Like, you can have these Pashtun Jew hangout spots, and then you can become friends, and then go to parties. And this is what should happen. We should just join, because it's good.
So let me quote Herodotus, a Greek historian who lived in the 5th century BC and who visited the current day Afghanistan and parts of Pakistan, Pashtun land. He said that Afridis are the descendants of Apariti. And Apariti. And in one of your programs, I just saw today that according to you people, they are the descendants of Ephraim. So, which one to believe? Whom to believe? The Herodotus Apariti or your Ephraim?
Well, I think Ephraim themselves are saying that they're Bani Israel. So I will defer to my Afridi brothers and sisters over there who claim to be Ephraim, and say, well, we believe in a couple of messiahs that are coming. One from the northern kingdom, Messiah ben Yosef, and then we've got another Messiah ben David. So what it is that being that I believe that the scriptures are true and the prophets are true, that our Messiah is going to look at every Pashtun and look at every Jew and tell them which tribe they belong to. And I've heard it said that there are people that think that they're Jews, they're not Jews. And there are people that think they're not Jews and they are Jews, that this is what's going to happen. So I'm just going to believe in my heart, if Ephraim come from Yosef, the second born of Yosef, and he got the leadership role, if this Afridi is Ephraim, great. If one of the tribes is Ephraim, one of them is Yosef, one of them is Dan, one of them is Naphtali, one of them is Zebulon. We'll get it all sorted. Let's just become friends.
Okay, and how do you see the future course? Do you think that the two will get closer? Some kind of new things will come out which will affect the love bond, or the groping efforts?
For Pashtuns and Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I have no doubt the love for each other will only grow. I have no doubt that we will join together. I have no doubt that we'll all praise God in Jerusalem, the holy capital of the world, and Israel. By all means, there is a Jewish gate which only the Jews and the non-Jews can go through, and there's a gate to the Temple Mount just for Muslims. So the Pashtuns can make their choice. If they want to, they can come through the Muslim gate, or they can come through the Jewish gate if they want. We don't mind. And, we'll be having feasts 3 times a year. And, I think we can be good friends. I think we'll become brothers and sisters like we should.
Okay, your particular message, because now I'm going to conclude the program, because I'm getting signals from the technical side that the time has arrived to conclude my program.
Yes, and I've just been just told that yes, Afridi is Ephraim, and that's probable. That's more likely than the Herodotus scholar. I agree with that.
Okay, and I'm asked to ask about Harry's comment, concluding remarks, and also from Nadav about the future plan.
The future plan? So,
Hello, you're welcome once again.
Yes,
Shalom,
you're
what
waiting
was
for a final comment?
Yeah, your concluding remarks. What's your special message towards the close,
Okay.
towards the end of the program?
My concluding remarks are this. 2,700 years ago, there were men who were leaving Israel, and they said a prayer. Their prayer was, I want to have a direct line of males born from me who will one day make it back to this land. And today we are the results of those prayers. We are the people who someone once prayed about 3,000 years ago. And the opportunity in front of us is tremendous. And we should feel very honored that we had the honor to and the opportunity to be alive to have this conversation. And I can expect that this time next year, everything will be different because already with the work we're doing right now. So bless you. I'm reading the comments. Bless all the holy people that are listening and watching your show. They're truly incredible. And this is only going to go uphill from here.
So thank you very much, Harry.
my
The last
yeah.
question is, because after that I will conclude the program.
Okay.
The question is, what are the future plans, and how do you see that? Where does this will end up?
Far into the future, we can't even look. We don't know what's going to happen politically. All those stuff that they don't depend on us. But right now with the internet, we have an opportunity to do stuff on our own. People to people. We don't need any government. We don't need anybody's help. We don't need all the corrupted people. We don't care about them. We can just talk to the Pashtun. So right now we are focusing on making all the Jews know that the lost tribes are not lost. They are found, and we can stop looking and let the Pashtuns know that we care, so they can stop with all those. Sometimes Pashtuns are saying, "Well, so what? We are Muslim now." No, it doesn't work like that. We are Muslim now. We are your nation, and we want to take part in your lives, and we want you to take part in our lives. We want to give each other like a priority over other people, and I think we owe it to each other, and that is what we are trying to do right now.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much for being with us and
Thank you.
sharing your thoughts and your
Thank you.
views on this subject and this topic. So thank you very much. And now I would like to ask Rochelle for her concluding remarks, because I'm supposed to close the program and wind it up.
Okay, so I'd like to speak to the heart and soul of every single Pashtun that will be watching and every single Jew that will be watching, that the Creator of the world loves you, that He chose you from all of creation to be Bani Israel. It is our responsibility to make sure that the world become a peaceful place. We need you need us, the world needs us to join, because when we join, there'll be a new world. There'll be a new place. There'll be peace. There'll be no war. And that the weapons of war will be used as gardening tools, says our scripture. And your heart will know this is the truth. It's time now. It's time for the prophecies to be fulfilled. We can fulfill the prophecies by actually making the steps to do it. You see, all we need to do is read these prophecies of our return, and it gives us the instructions on how to make it happen. We make it happen. We can't wait around and let other people try and fix things when it's our responsibility to bring the world to world peace. So please join us. Please, let's work together. And if the governments of Israel or Afghanistan, whatever, we stand up to them and say, hey, we're brothers, we need the return. We want to make the world a better place, and we can do that by joining. And thank you so much for listening.
So thank you very much. Nadav, your concluding remarks also and a message.
Excuse me?
Your concluding remarks and a message also.
The conclusion.
Yeah, the concluding remarks. Yeah.
Well, like I said, we are We are one. I'm enjoying every second I spend with all of my Pashtuns friends. If you check my Facebook, by the way, all the Pashtuns who believe this and like us are welcome to add me or join our group. The people of Israel, Jirga, Pashtuns and Jews. If you check my Facebook, I have much more Pashtun Facebook friends than Jewish ones.
So
And I
thank you
really
all.
enjoyed
Thank you all. Yeah,
very much.
thank you all. Yeah, thank you all for being part of this program. I'm really thankful to you, and also to those who participated in the comment section, and to those who watched this program. And I'm also is thankful to the technical side team members, particularly Aurangzeb Zamesab, who was joining me in this program as a technician tonight. So thank you all. Thank you all. Good night to all.
Thank you. Thank you so much.